Okay, alright guys, so back again, Lumber and Kid, back again with the episode 26, season finale. Once again, this episode is not airing until next week, but already on Nick.com, they have them up. And I was really surprised at that. I was really want to know why they did this. And a couple of my friends have theories of why. I'm not going to get into that. I'm here to give my thoughts, my recap / review thoughts on this episode. So now, guys, with Batum, sorry, it's my phone, Batum, and the now in the real world and trying to bring darkness to the world, Korra is kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do. After the rest of the siblings, Tenzin and his brother and sister come out and find, and free and heal Bolin and everybody like that. And, it's just like, okay, what do we do? What can I do and everything like that. And Tenzin finally starts to realize he realized that he wasn't a good teacher, mentor to her, but he's still learning himself, and he's not hammering it, but he's really mentoring that into Korra's head, like, even though you're not connected to the spirits anymore, there's still more to you. Bring that out of you. And Korra kind of meditates on that in the tree that Batum was in, and she starts to see all her past exploits and everything like that, and got to see Wong again and everything like that. And she meditates on it, and she meditates so much that to the point where she's connected, and like a spirit, her spirit, she kind of enters like the world. Remember when Aang first tried to go into the Avatar state, and you saw that big man that would like encase him? They kind of did that as well, but it was a female this time, and Korra enters into like the spear. She's like holding like this, and she walks in, and then her spirit comes out, and she turns into this giant. She starts to grow until she comes out of a tree, and she's just growing, and she goes into the spirit. She goes up and she flies out, and then like this is big, like big gigantic battle between Batum and her, and it was really cool. It reminded me of Godzilla and stuff, like just seeing my favorite kaijus go at it. It was really funny. It was just really cool to see it, and they're blasting each other, like beams are coming out of their chest and everything like that. And in the meantime, the gang is protecting Korra from the dark spirits from getting to her and things like that. So it was really interesting as well. And you just see, Korra and Batum / Udalot going at it. They're just going at it, blow for blow, hit for hit, blast for blast, and you got everybody watching it. And unfortunately, at one point, Korra has the upper hand, and she's like pounding on the chest of Batum / Udalot, and you can hear him like, "What are you looking for?" and he just blasts her off and things like that. And it starts to get to the point. The tide turns a little bit, and unfortunately, it's starting to look very dire for Korra, even in this state that she's in. It's almost like she still doesn't have enough power, and it's just like, you're really kind of pulling for Korra once again, and unfortunately, it's not looking so good. Well, in the meantime, the team is still trying to protect Korra, her body, her physical body, from the spirits, and the rest of they're fighting off the spirits, the dark spirits, and once again Bolin gets in trouble, and you got Eska, leave my Bolin alone, and he's like, Eska, I love you, and things like that, it's really funny. I'm just laughing at that. That was just so funny. And when it looks like all hope is lost between, for Korra, she gets some help from Janora, who comes and helps out and gives her that extra boost to help free her, uh, you know, free her, defeat Batum. Was really cool and able to free Rava as well, because it was a hint. Once again, remember back in the with Wong, Rava can't destroy Batum as much as Batum can't destroy Rava. It was like, light and dark must be together. It's like, what is light without darkness? What is darkness without light? They're eternally linked. So it was really cool to see that, and it was like, yeah, that's true. That makes a lot of sense, and I enjoyed that very much to see like that. But he's able to free her, but in the process she had to unfortunately defeat and not save Udalak. She couldn't save him, unfortunately. And it's funny to see Janora's mom, because that actually brought a tear to my eye right there. See her mom like, "Go get him, honey!" And like, yeah, you always want your mom, cheering your kids on and stuff like that. It was, that kind of brought tears in my eyes. I was like, yeah, that's so sweet. I'm like, oh, and it was so funny and so great to see that, her brother's cheering her, her brother and sister cheering her, but her mom just being the one that's really cheering her on. And Janora is able to come back, and she's with her Katara, and she's like, Grand, and you know Asami says, okay, what happened to Korra, and she's like, she's okay, she saved the world, she saves the world. And it ended right there with, now that Korra and Rava are back together, she kind of is like, okay, almost like, what do I do now, in a sense, after she, blankets the world back to being with light instead of with darkness. Tenzin actually asks her, are you reconnected with the other spirits? And unfortunately, she says, no, I'm not. And in a sense, we all would think, okay, she's back with Rava, so that means the connection with the other spirits are there now. They're not. They're gone now. They're gone. And this kind of brings a little twist to it. It's like, okay, so now it's starting with Korra now, in a sense, but still has Rava. And she goes to tell Eska and Dessa, Dennis, basically about their father, and they're just like, it seems like cousin Korra thinks that we actually care, like almost like he did try to, we don't care, like it was like he was cruel. So it's almost like, okay, there is something in these two. There's a heart, and they're just like, so but what do we tell mother? So it was like, okay. And then Bolin is like, Eska, so you come back to Republic City with me? And she's like, no, I have to go back home and things like that. And he's like, okay, I'll go with you. And she's like, no. And she kind of said, I got caught up in the moment and things like that, so I didn't kind of really mean what I said. And you kind of see on Bolin's face, he's like, yeah, I kind of didn't mean that either, but it was kind of like, it felt real. And so he kind of says to her, like, but you always have my, she didn't say heart, she said the organ that beats blood, that pumps blood. And you're like, oh my god, and they kind of laughed right there. It was like, oh, you kind of felt bad for Bolin. And you kind of, for me personally, I felt bad for Bolin and Eska, because they were kind of like an odd couple, but it kind of worked in that sense. Opposites attract, in a sense, and it was something there between them. But still, in the meantime, Korra doesn't. She thinks maybe, okay, I gotta close the portals. But what does she do? She says maybe, even though he was kind of, her uncle was kind of, you know, he had a point. Maybe the the avatar isn't supposed to be just the only balance. You know, the maybe the world needs to have the spirit world open and have the spirits and humans coexist and everything like that. And that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. I was like, yeah, okay, now this leaves us open to, okay, where's does this go now? Now having the spirits be able to freely come into the world and go back in, and humans can walk into the spirit world and go back, you know, and everything like that. Where does this open up? This opens up. This is a whole new ball game. You know what I'm saying? And this was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot too. And in the meantime, the Southern Water Tribe gets independence, and Korra's dad becomes the chief of the Southern Water Tribe and things like that. Um, and unfortunately, everything was good. Even I didn't forget to mention that Barracks escaped from prison, which is really funny. Uh, but the one thing that kind of, with all the goodness that was happening, there was a little bit of a downer moment right there. It was finally that Mako had to tell Korra, look, yeah, you may have lost your memory, but there was something. I remember I told you. When he told her, he's like, we had a big fight and I broke up with you and things like that. And Korra surprisingly said, I know that. And at first I'm like, so why didn't you tell her? And then she was like, well, I just got it back when she saw it in the tree and everything like that. And she, and unfortunately they said what they had was good, but unfortunately it's like fate is kind of pushing them apart. It's like they are not destined to be together. And there was a moment there, and you're just like, "Aw," and you know, it was, you know, once again, I'm a sucker for that stuff, and it's just like, you really was like, "Aw," you know, they said, you know, I'll always love you, Korra, you know, I'll always love you, but you know, they walked away, and it was kind of sad, but it was still like, okay, this still keeps their, I guess, hoping they'll be still, you know, the friends, they'll still be friends and still be allies and things like that. So I'm thinking maybe then they're gonna, maybe, hopefully, you know, Mako, that's just like, okay, well, I'm done with Korra, so let me jump back to Asami. You know, it's just like, I'm hoping that, you know, Mako kind of takes some time and like, okay, where do I go from here as well? Hopefully he becomes a detective and things like that, and Bolin gets some more credit where he deserves and things like that. But all in all, the season finale was really good. It picked up the last 4 episodes really picked up, and I was glad that they picked up like they did. I enjoyed it very much. I was very much pleased at what I got after this. But it opens the door now to, where does this go now? Where does this happen? What happens to Korra? What happens in the next book? You know, things like that. And, you know, it's a whole new ball game, guys. And it makes you wonder, where does this go? You know, the spirit world is open freely for spirits and humans to go through. So what's the next opponent now for Avatar Korra, in a sense? And but I did enjoy it. Very good indeed. You guys tell me what you thought about the season finale, if you watched it online. And other than that, this is Mount Vernon Kid saying peace and love. Stay tuned. Keep it real, guys. I will do my season 2 overview sometime later. But just to give you what I liked and what I did not like and everything like that, for all the, you know, for all 13 episodes for this season. But other than that, you guys take care.